Let's be honest, if you're a black woman who has dreamt about traveling the world all by yourself, there is usually one question that keeps you up at night. Is it safe for me question? And I honestly understand it. You're not just worried about the usual solo travel stuff. You're worried about the stairs, about walking into a restaurant in a place that nobody looks like you and wondering how would I be treated. Honestly, you do not have to panic because I have been there. I have solo traveled to 3 countries by myself: Thailand, Albania, Montenegro, and I promise you that I had the best time of my life. And in this video, I'm not just giving you generic advice, I'm giving you unfiltered practical tips that I've learned and I've implemented that helps me travel safe alone. Because one thing about me, I want my girlies to travel, and there is no reason why you should not travel, and you should stick around because these tips are going to be really useful to you.
I never slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you guys are welcome to another video. If this is your first time coming across this face, my name is Temi Akimbo. I'm a lifestyle travel content creator in the UK, and today I'm sharing some tips that's really going to help my girlies. And if you have not subscribed to my channel, I don't know what you're doing. Why don't you hit that subscribe button right now? It's just right in front of you. Can you do that? Thank you so much for subscribing. Anyways, guys, let's get into all the tips. The tip number 1 that I have for you is do your research, right? Do your research, but do not let it scare you. So one thing I usually do before all my trips is I research, right? Most times when you're trying to research a country, the default thing that comes up for you is probably people that do not look like you. What I always do to save myself is Thailand, black traveler; Albania, black traveler; somewhere, black traveler, because I want to see the experience of people that look like me, that have been there, right? A lot of people just get travel advice from people that do not look like them, but again, you need to understand that the way this world is set up, right? How I look and how the other person looks, they treat us differently. So you have to do your research, understand it. I go on Facebook, right? I go on Google. ChatGPT is your friend. What is this for a black person going to this place? Another thing you should be doing is watch a lot of vlogs, right? I know that sometimes travel vlogs are a lot, but do your research through vlogs, right? Even when I go on YouTube, I always put at the end black, because if you put the default, where are you going to, what would come up is people that do not look like you. And for you to be safe, because you are black, so you have to do your research and make sure your research is tailored to you. Number 2, know how visible you are going to be, and you need to own it, right? So one thing that I know that happens when you're traveling to a place that you don't really see black people, there's going to be a lot of stairs, and you have to be prepared for it. For instance, right, when I went to Albania and I went to Montenegro, I went during the off-peak season, so there are not a lot of black people. Everywhere that I went to, I was literally the only black person there, and people will stare at me, right? Sometimes it might be scary, but I just understood that they're not staring at you out of you look disgusting or what. They're just staring at you because maybe they've never seen a black person before, or they're just very surprised. Because when I went also, I was bowed, right? And I would wear backless and just be by myself. So that's where the stare comes out from genuinely. So one thing I would say is that before you go, you need to mentally prepare yourself that people would come and meet you randomly and say, oh, can I take a picture? Can I do this? Sometimes you'll be wondering to yourself, am I a celebrity? What's really going on here? But that's just the reality. But when they stare, own it. Walk into the room and walk with your head high, because being visible doesn't mean being unsafe. It just means that you need to have strong self, and you also need to have confidence and walk with that confidence. Tip number 3, never ever give strangers your real name or anything to identify you. One thing I usually do on all my trips, right, I have different names for different countries. In Albania, I think I was Tola. In another country, I was Ada. Sometimes I'm Whitney. Sometimes I'm Courtney. It depends on my vibe that day, but nobody would say that they've met me on that trip, that they actually know my name, except you. I think that we vibe, and it's mostly females that actually give my name. But you see guys or somebody that's just trying to get to know you, and they're like, oh, what's your name? Never give them your real identity. Also, never let them know that you're alone. You need to be safety conscious, right? Solo traveling is going to open your eyes to a lot of things. Like, you'll meet random people. Like in Albania, right, I met a guy that literally went on a date and he wanted to take me home on that date, right? The thing is, he didn't know my name, right? And he didn't even know where I was staying. So you need to be security conscious. Your name, your passport, where you live, your social media, and do not give anybody that you do not trust, right? One thing I always also do is on every travel, if they ask me, oh, why are you here? My friends are in the hotel, they're coming to meet me, I'm always cooking up live because safety is the number one thing that you need to have when you're solo traveling. Tip number 4, budget smart, but do not sacrifice your savings for your safety. So what do I mean? I went to 3 countries that were genuinely affordable, but one thing I would never do on any trip is sacrifice my safety, right? A lot of solo travelers do this thing where in order to cut costs, they will try to find an hotel that is in an unknown area just because it's cheaper, right? I understand that we also have to save, right? But when you're traveling alone, especially as a Black person, you need to think about your safety first. You cannot be in an area where there are not a lot of people that look like you, right? Or is not central and is not safe just because you're thinking about, oh, I need to save some coins. It's good to save some coins, but then again, your safety is more important. What I usually do is I go to countries that are really nice, but one thing I will never sacrifice is where I stay. I always love to stay in nice places, that's one, and also places that have good security. That would be hotels, Airbnbs. I've only stayed in an Airbnb once, and that's when I went to Montenegro, and the Airbnb I stayed was so safe. They had a key card that you had to get into the room. To get into the flat as well, there's a key card. So the security was top notch. I'd done my research, I've spoken to the host and everything, and I checked that, right? Also, because I take a lot of walks when I travel, I also make sure that the place that I'm staying is somewhere that's very easily accessible. I can call somebody, I can do this if there's that. So you should never sacrifice your savings for your safety. Pick the right places to stay. Do not compromise on where you want to sleep or lay your head, right? I feel like in my travel road, that's one thing I will not compromise. Number 5, you won't always find people that look like you when you travel, but that's totally okay. I feel like that's one thing that I've learned in my solo journey, right? I went to Albania and I went to Montenegro, and I did not see any single person that looked like me, and it was totally okay. And even when I finally found them, right, I'd already so gotten used to myself that it was even hard for me to make friends, right? A lot of all the travel community will tell you, oh, you find your community before you go. Find your community, you do that, right? One thing that I know that people also say they do is probably go on Inge or they go on Bubble. I don't do one of those things, right? Not because of anything, but I'm just okay with the fact that if I meet somebody, that's really beautiful. If I do not meet, I do not expect. I think I've only made one friend in the history of my solo travel, and that was in Thailand, and she's one of the sweetest people that I met on that trip, right? It's okay to seek out to want to make friends, want to do this, want to do that, but you should not be sad or feel lonely because you have not made friends. On that trip, it's just supposed to be about you, and that's one thing I've learned about my trip. Always okay with being by myself and being the only one, right? If you want, right, and you're not one of the people that just like doing things by yourself, then you can join Bubble. I think they said there's Bubble Best Friend. There's also Inge as well that you can join to make friends. Tip number 6, have a communication plan. See, I'm very guilty of this, right? All the trips that I've been free-spirited, right? And also will look for me. There was even one time she had to call police because she didn't find me, right? Do not be like me. Have a communication plan. Let somebody know where you're going to, where you're staying, your itinerary for the day. When you wake up in the morning, send a message, oh, these are my plans for the day. These are the things that are going. If possible, even send your Google location so somebody knows where you are, right? Me, I'm just a giron. I don't know if that's what we are going to call it, because I go on my trips and I really do not communicate to anybody. Like my last trip was actually serious. They had to stop me at the airport because Nonso had already reported me to the police that she thought I was missing, and that's because I could not communicate with her. I mean, there was a reason that I didn't communicate with her, but don't be like me. Always have a communication plan. Tip number 7, learn a few words before you go. If you go to places like Thailand, right, you know that Thai is the major language, right? I didn't learn languages before I went, but I learned it when I was there. Sawadika, Kapunka, just a little basic language would help you. It would also show that, you are interested and you're not just a user, right? And also always have Google Translate. If they're speaking in languages that you do not understand, activate that Google Translate so that you can understand. Because when I was in Montenegro, I was in this place, right? They were talking about me and I turned on my Google Translate just so I could understand it. I mean, it wasn't even a bad thing. They were just wondering why I was carrying my hair, bowed, and my clothes. That's what they were talking about. But also need to just understand this, because you most likely go to places that English is not that first language. So the more that you know the few words or you activate Google Translate, the better that it helps you navigate where you're staying. Tip number, I don't know what number this is, embrace the unexpected, and that's where the magic does happen. Guys, it's one thing to have an itinerary set. This is what I'm going to do today. This is what I'm going to do that. This, that. It's okay to have that. It's also okay to just go with the flow. Something that you do not have planned. One evening, just take a walk. I mean, for instance, one thing that was very unexpected for me was Yona Beach Club in Thailand. I didn't plan it, right? So it was when I got there, I saw a lot of people just advertising and advertising everywhere. I just kept on seeing that, right? And I'm like, what is this place about? And it turned out one of my best experiences there. I was really skeptical because after I seen the ads, right, I started seeing a lot of, it's not a place that you go by yourself, you have to go with your friends. But one thing about me is that I'm Giron special. I said that I'm going to go and see what they are doing there, and I'm going to go by myself. And I went by myself, and guys, I had the best time of my life. So you also need to understand that on solo travels, it's good to have your plan, but sometimes just go out of your way and do something unexpected, and that's you would have the best time. Lastly, just go. I had to save this one for the last because it's the most important and it's the hardest. There would always be a reason for you not to go. The timing is imperfect. Nobody's going to go with you. How would you be sitting down living alone? The money is not quite there. There's always lots of reason. And on top of all that, as a Black woman, you're navigating a world that hasn't always welcomed you in every space. And literally going on such trips actually takes courage. And a lot of you do not have that courage. But listen to me when I say this, the world is so beautiful. There is a lot of things to see, right? You do not have to be scared to do it by yourself. I know how that can be, and I know how scary that is, right? But the first step you just need to do is just go. The best things in life are the things that you do scared, right? I was scared about going to Thailand by myself, but I had the best time of my life. It built me in a way that I don't think I can describe with words, but I feel it in my heart. That's how much Thailand, my solo travel journey, has been, right? So I want to encourage you today. There is nothing wrong in you going by yourself. You do not have to wait for people to want to do things with you, right? I know that it's hard, right? Take that first step. Take that one step, right? And you can even do something different. Go on a group with people that you do not know. That's still a solo travel because you don't know these people, but you're just surrounded by people. Solo travel actually changed my life, and I think that it can change your life too. So whatever trip that you've been planning, you've been stalling about, just do it. Ask for help, anything that you need. If you even need help, I would help you. Come into my DMs, because my real goal in life is to make sure that people see the world, because this world is so beautiful. And that's it, guys. That's all the tips that I did have to share with you guys today. I hope you guys have learned one or two from these videos. If you have been thinking about solo travel and you don't know where to start from, just drop your location or your dream destination in the comment section, and I will be in the comments reading the comments. And if you're planning a solo trip to Thailand and you're looking for an ebook that guides you, that gives you all the contacts, I got you covered, because I have that ebook. And if you comment Thailand in the comment section, I will send it to you. It costs £12, and that's just like, it's just small. It's not just a lot. If you were to pay an agent for all the information that is in that book, it's going to cost you a lot. So if you're looking for ways to save money and how to enjoy your solo travel, especially to Thailand, then you should slide into my DMs. And yeah, everything for today. Do not forget to like, share, subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Mwah. Bye.